Okay, so in the last couple of videos, we've learned how to put together a Cucumber framework and how that works, and also we've done a little bit of browser automation as well. So what we're going to do now is combine those two things and have a Cucumber framework that can do some browser testing. And to do that, we're going to use this website called sourcedemo.com, which is a site that exists mainly just to practice automated testing on. So that's what we're going to use. We're going to automate this. So you've got a website here called Source Demo. It was actually called Swag Labs. The URL is Source Demo. And you can log into that using the credentials that you've got here. So you've got a password and a username. If you enter that and log in, you're logged in. And you can use a few different users here as well to simulate different scenarios. So what we're going to do is we're just going to automate the happy path of this first of all. So let's go back to our framework and we will add a new feature file, and we're going to call that feature file login.feature. There we go. And this time we're going to give it a description of, we'll just call the feature login. And for our first scenario, we'll call this scenario user can log in with valid credentials. Oops, there we go. So we're going to have given I am on the login page. When I log in with valid credentials, then I am logged in. Actually, I'm logged in. Let's just leave it as that for the time being. That'll work as a starter for 10. Right, so next thing we'll do is we'll just run this test to generate our code, same as we did previously. So we run that, and if we look in our run window here, run tab, we can see it's generated the code for all of those steps. So let's go to the step definitions folder, and we'll create a new file in there, and we'll call it login_steps.js. And we're going to need to import the same stuff that we had in our test steps. So let's just grab those. So we've got access to our given, when, then modules and the assertion. And now let's put these in here. So we've got our given, our when, and our then. And then if we go back to login, we run this again. There you go. You can see it's now showing you that we've got a pending there, so it hasn't run the next two steps. And to make it a little bit easier, what I normally do if I was doing this is I would just comment out the next two steps, so we can just concentrate on one thing at a time. So let's go and look at that step def here for the I'm on the login page, and let's make this open up a browser and take us to the login page. So we're going to rewrite some of that code that we used in the second video, I believe it was. Right, so we're going to have to import a couple more things, but before we do that, we'll have to add those to our package file as well. So we want to create some dependencies here, so we're going to import Selenium, and we'll just have the latest version of that. And we also want Chrome driver. Let's do latest to that too. There we go. And then we'll just right click that tab and click on run npm install. Cool. And then let's go back to our login steps, and we'll import all the libraries that we need. So we need Chrome driver, going to change that to single quotes as well. Keep everything in line. So we want Chrome driver. We need Chrome driver, and we need Selenium. Specifically from that, we want what do we want? We want buy, we want a builder, and we want capabilities. Capabilities equals capabilities, and we want that for Chrome again because we're using Chrome here. And we're going to set that to Chrome options. W3C, and we'll set that to false. Right, so here we go. So we want down here, so hopefully we've now got everything we want. So in this given now, we're going to open up a browser. So we're going to create the driver in here. I'm going to create it using the this, so that we've got the scope to use that in the other step defs. So so we want new driver is equal to new builder with capabilities, and then passing out capabilities, and we'll build that. Right, let's run this again. Hopefully this time when we run this test, it'll open up a browser. Fingers crossed. There we go. Cool. Then we want it to go to source demo. So we'll go to this .driver .get, and we'll pass in our URL, which is sourcedemo.com, and let's run this again. Cool. So there we go. So we've got out the first section of our given there. Sorry, the first section of our first step of our scenario, given I'm on the login page, and that's exactly what that does now. It takes us to the login page. And then the next thing we want to do is log in with valid credentials. So on this bit, we want to actually start looking at populating that username and that password field and clicking submit. So let's just open up that browser again and have a look at those and see how we can do that. So same way that we did it previously when we were looking at web automation before. It's just right click on the element that you want to interact with. So in this case, username. We'll inspect that and have a look if there's something we can use to click it. And we've got, there we go, it's got an ID of username. So we'll use that. So we'll grab username, copy that, and let's go into login with valid credentials, and we'll do this .driver find element. So we want to find our element, and we're going to use the by again, by ID, and we'll pass in there the ID, which is username. And we don't, last time I think we just looked at clicking. What we actually want to do here is populate that, which I think is send keys. There we go. Let's try that, send keys. And whatever we type in here is what will end up hopefully in here. So let's get that standard user. And now let's try and run that and see if that populates the username. There we go. It's got standard user in there. So let's copy that line now. And this time we want to enter a password. So if we right click on the password to inspect that, that has an ID of password. So we'll put that in the ID there. And the password is secret source. So we'll put that there. Run that. And there we go. And the final thing we want to do is to click that login button. So right click, and that has an ID of login button. So let's grab let's go to find element by ID login button, and we don't want to send any keys to that. We want to use the click method. So let's click, add that there, and run it again. Right, so those two steps are working. So we can open the browser, get to the login page, and we can log in. We need to now verify that we're logged in. So we need some sort of assertion to tell our framework or our test that we have been successful in logging in. So to do that, I'm actually going to change this slightly to make it a little bit more descriptive. We know that when you're logged in, you're taken to the products page. So let's change this last step here. We'll change it to I am. Let's put I am taken to the products page. There we go. And let's run that again. So just grab that last step def. There we go. So a little bit of code. So we'll replace that on the step definition file. So we'll change that to that. And we want to verify that we're on that page. So let's look at a title here. So we've got a title here that says products. Let's have a look at that. So we've got a span with the class title. So we'll grab that and we'll get the text, and if the title will say that if the title is equal to products, then we know that we're on the products page. So let's get this text. We'll do that, and we'll do that using the get text method on the driver. So let's do let. We don't need to do this on this one because we're only going to use this variable within this this step. So let's do let title title text equal, and we'll do this dot driver dot find element, and we'll use the class name of that. So we'll do by class name. What's the class name for this? Title. By class name title, and then we will do get text. There we go. And let's just check we're getting that okay. So let's just output that to the console. Console.log. And we'll put title text, and let's just see what comes back. Right, so nothing happened there, and you can see that it's got a problem, or we've got a problem. The fact that this title is coming back as a promise, and the reason it's doing that is because, unlike other languages, this is running asynchronously. So it's doing everything at once, and really we don't want it to do that. We don't want it to be running things in parallel. We want it to be going through these steps, and we want it to run things sequentially. So we want it to do the first thing, we want it to load up the page, and then after that we want it to log in, and then after that we want it to go and get the text, the title text. At the moment it's trying to do everything at once, and it's doing things it's doing things asynchronously. So we don't want it to do that. We want it to run sequentially, but to do that we need to change these functions into asynchronous functions, and then we're going to use something called await so that it does things sequentially instead. So to turn that into an asynchronous function, we're just simply going to put the word async there and call that an asynchronous function. There we go. Let's turn that into an async function, and the same here. And then we're going to start using the term await, and that will mean that it will do that thing, and it will basically not do the next thing until it's done that. So if we do await and put that in front of everything, so now equal this. Now let's see how that runs. There we go. Cool. So that ran everything in order this time. And you can see the title that we've got back is products, which is what we want. So now we can assert on that. So we can say assert after we've done everything else and we've logged in. We want to assert that we're on the products page. So we're going to just assert that that title text is equal to products. So we'll put title text is equal to products, and then put a message. If something goes wrong, we'll put what should we put here? We'll put product page was not displayed. And let's run that again. And there we go. If we change that to something else, we wanted to make sure that we were on the, I don't know, the login page. Run that again. That should fail. There we go. It's failed and it's come up with our message there. So there we have it. That is a very brief overview of how to combine the two things. So you've now got the ability to automate your browser, and you've got the ability to write a Cucumber framework, and now we've combined the two. We'll do something in the next video. We'll do something a little bit more interesting yet again, and we'll refine this framework a little bit.